It's a remarkable apparatus, said the officer to the explorer, and gazed with a certain look of admiration at the device with which he was, of course, thoroughly familiar. This is the first sentence of Kafka's story of the year 1914 in the Penal Colony. It is a story, at least on one level, about a penal colony in which the system of justice, and particularly the procedure of execution, is as bizarre and as ghastly, as horrible as anyone might be able to imagine. Kafka wrote the story in about 2 weeks in October of 1914. He was mainly at work during this time at his great and unfortunately unfinished novel, The Trial. He had reached somewhat of an impasse with the trial. His writing, which had been going very well, had slowed. He decided to take first 1 week and then another week of vacation to try to force himself through that impasse with the trial. But instead, Kafka turns away from the manuscript of the novel and begins writing the story in the Penal Colony, which he finishes, or nearly finishes, actually very quickly, in about 2 weeks. And indeed, the Penal Colony has it's related thematically and otherwise to the trial in a number of different ways. It is, of all of Kafka's stories, maybe the one that collects his major themes most comprehensively: the law, judgment, punishment, bureaucracies, power struggles, generational conflict, and even writing and reading are all important themes in the story. Another important theme, as it is in the trial, is the possibility or impossibility of understanding texts, or understanding the world, understanding legal structures, power structures, the world around one. Here we find ourselves in a colonial era penal colony patterned maybe roughly after Devil's Island or other French, Russian, or British penal colonies of the time. The larger historical context, of course, is that in October 1914, World War I, that had initially been greeted by many people in Central European countries with considerable enthusiasm, had proved itself to be a brutal, mechanical form of slaughter that no one was particularly enthusiastic about anymore in the fall of 1914. Both of these historical contexts, although never directly mentioned, are very much in play as the reader tries to understand what goes on in this strange judicial procedure in which a condemned man is forced to understand his judgment with his wounds.
From Amazon Kindle, Barnes & Noble Nook, and Apple iBookstore.